Hello everybody, and welcome back once again to Gaza Goju YT. And while I originally wasn't planning to make this video, I decided after a lot of thinking and consideration that I will be submitting to yet another popular hybrid contest on YouTube, that being the Tides of War by Master Dragon. In order to know all the details regarding this contest, I left a link in the description to the video made by Master Dragon in which he discusses all the details you should know. But without any further ado, let's get right to cooking. The first genetic contributor in my hybrid's genome is the Costa Rican long-nosed chimaera. This will be my hybrid's base genome, providing the overall body shape, which is somewhat similar to that of a ratfish, but with the elongated nose bill, which will act as a form of bridging, influencing my hybrid's final appearance. The second genetic contributor in my hybrid's genome is the spotted ratfish, which will provide its pectoral fins for enhancing my hybrid's aquatic mobility, as well as its venomous dorsal spine for protecting my hybrid's dorsal fin. The third genetic contributor in my hybrid's genome is Pochitacera patricia canali, which will replace the chimera's nose bill with an enlarged rostrum packed with 2 rows of regenerating razor-sharp teeth on each end, as well as influencing my hybrid's overall coloration. The fourth genetic contributor in my hybrid's genome is Bothriolepis canadensis, which will be the primary contributor to my hybrid's armor, with dermal bony plates providing optimal protection to the head, torso, and pectoral fins. And it also should be worth noting that while this armor is incredibly rigid and durable, it does not affect my hybrid's articulation points, meaning that the pectoral fin perks provided by the ratfish are still maintained. The fifth genetic contributor to my hybrid's genome is the Indo-Pacific blue marlin, which will help provide a wide multitude of perks. Starting at the front, it will robustify my hybrid's skull and rostrum with micro serrations at the latter region for enhanced song efficiency, in addition to smoother skin and a drag-reducing mucus for granting my hybrid greater swimming speed, its caudal fin shape for better propulsion and stabilization when sawing, its heater organ at the level of the brain and eyes for maintaining these organs in optimal condition when exposed to freezing temperatures, which also translates to granting my hybrid greater visual acuity in dark environments, and lastly, its lactic acid buffering capabilities at the level of the muscle fibers for preventing fatigue. The sixth genetic contributor to my hybrid's genome is the tiger shark, one of the most commonly utilized animals in both marine and terrestrial hybrids alike, and for a good reason at that. With its robust digestive and immune systems, tough mouth padding, and fluorapatide complex in the teeth making them stronger, all complementing its broad dietary range, allowing this shark species to tackle any prey item or really anything for that matter that it sets its eyes upon. And speaking of eyes, it will also provide its nictitating eye membrane for protecting them, in addition to a minor boost in intelligence, its secondary dorsal and anal fins to aid with swimming efficiency, and lastly, it will provide the microserrations on its teeth, which will be incorporated to both my hybrid's regular teeth and rostral teeth to further increase their efficiency at slicing, cutting, and sawing through prey with ease. The seventh genetic contributor to my hybrid's genome is the basking shark, which will provide my hybrid's size as well as its thick skin for an extra layer of defense. The eighth genetic contributor to my hybrid's genome is the seven-gilled shark, which will further boost my hybrid's venom resistance in addition to providing extra gill slits for greater oxygen intake and thus greater stamina. The ninth genetic contributor in my hybrid's genome is the scalloped hammerhead shark, which will provide its ability to hold its breath by closing its gill slits for an extended period of time. This will help further boost my hybrid's stamina while also doubling down as a defense mechanism against chemical defenses like hackfish slime, all while the Bothriolepis armor protects the gills from physical attacks. And lastly, it will provide its ampulla of Lorenzini, considering that the blue marlin's bill, all while being used for defense, can also double down as a sensory organ, given that it's packed with large sensory organs at the bottom for detecting water changes. So the addition of the scalloped hammerhead shark, which boasts the most sophisticated electroreception system amongst sharks, should certainly help. The 10th genetic contributor in my hybrid's genome is the Atlantic salmon, which is basically the aquatic version of the bar-headed goose, as it will provide its combination of red muscle fibers and white muscle fibers for a balanced mixture of endurance and power, coupled with a proportionally larger 4-chambered heart for greater cardiac plasticity, modifications to the gills for even greater oxygen intake, a trait that is further complemented by the spleen's ability to produce extra red blood cells, and lastly, its highly energy-efficient metabolic rate. The 11th genetic contributor in my hybrid's genome is the Goliath tigerfish, which will provide its jaw structure and large, yet surprisingly robust dagger-like teeth, which will be useful for gripping and piercing through armor. The last genetic contributor in my hybrid's genome is the yellow-tailed horse mackerel, which will provide its yellow scutes for protecting the only region that is not protected by the dermal bony plates of the Bathyrolepis, that being the tail, with these scutes making it difficult to bite down on my hybrid's tail, all while posing little to no inconvenience in terms of mobility. Now that the genome is complete, it's time to showcase my submission to the Tides of War. Tigre chimaera Sarah, name meaning the chainsaw tiger chimera, codenamed Denji. Length 12 meters or 39.36 feet. Weight 12 tons. Cruising speed 16 kilometers per hour or 10 miles per hour. Sprinting speed 25.27 kilometers per hour or 16 miles per hour. And bite force 69,131 newtons or 10,026 psi. This hybrid was designed for a 1v1 matchup against one of the members of the nautic oligarchy, with the fight starting with Denji ambushing his opponent from underneath. Considering that many additives in his genome are adapted for life in the deep sea, Denji would ambush his opponent when his guard is let down, allowing him to land a critical blow from the get-go before the situation escalates to a full-on fight in the open ocean, in which Denji's agility, which allows him to keep the opponent within the range of his chompers and chainsaw-like rostrum at all times, stamina, which allows him to endure a battle of attrition, and powerful arsenal all come together to grant Denji a hard-fought victory after a long and ferocious battle. And that was my submission to the Tides of War. Thank you everybody so much for watching. I hope you really enjoyed this video, and be sure to tune in next time for the comeback of one of my most popular series. So until then, goodbye.